Well, summer is here, so that means family fun and, of course, those hungry kiddos at home all day long. Now, while it's easy to just have the chips and the cookies hanging around the pantry, parents should set up some guidelines and maybe even think about some healthier options to have on hand when your kids come with, "Mom, I'm hungry." So joining us with some easy, healthy snack options, we have Akron Children's Hospital dietitian, Miss Abby Granger. Thank you so much for joining us, Abby.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Now, Abby, kids are playing, they're running around, they're swimming all summer long, finding all kinds of things to do. Talk to me about how important it is or how important food is when it comes to supplying them with that energy to get through those activities.
So I tell my patients this all the time. That's exactly what calories are when we eat them. They're energy, they're their fuel for us to keep on going throughout the day. And for little kids who are burning off that fuel a lot, running around, playing during the summertime, it's really important to make sure that we keep them fed and keep them fed with the nutritious items to keep that energy stable.
Okay, so, while we can always just reach for some chips, some candy or cookies, you said it's important, but talk to me about why, that's important, like how important that is to have that healthy option on hand that they can have that access to. Is it that they're going to be more sluggish if they're eating more junky foods? Is it that the healthy ones are going to give them all the energy? But then also, I don't know how much the parents want their kids to be super crazy and energetic around the house. What do you think?
Yeah, so those items you're talking about, like chips and cookies, have quick sugars. So they're going to get us energy quickly, and next thing you know, our energy is going to crash. So you actually might see a little bit more rambunctious kids with those kinds of snacks. So the healthier snacks that include some sort of protein, some sort of fiber item, give us a lot longer and stable energy. So rather than a big, you know, peak and valley with our energy, we'll see like a nice little mountain of energy that's a lot more stable.
Okay, and what are some of the healthy snack ideas that parents can maybe have around them that are easy to make, that kids might be excited to eat?
Yes, so I tell my patients this all the time. We tell them to pair their peas, so have some sort of protein item with some sort of produce item like a fruit or vegetable. And you want to make sure those fruits and vegetables are in plain sight. They're towards the front of the refrigerator. They're out in a bowl on the table so that they're in their sight, they're in their mind, something that they actually want to reach for. Same thing with those protein items. So making sure we stock the fridge and the pantry with those nutritious items rather than those chips and cookies that are going to be a lot easier to reach for if they're in plain sight.
Yeah, and I mean, it's okay to have chips and cookies here and there, but how important
Yeah.
do you think it is that parents set up some set of rules or maybe guidelines as to when they can snack on those things, something salty or sweet versus when they should be reaching for something a little bit healthier?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's totally okay. I tell my patients that all the time. Cookies and chips are delicious, and the occasional treat is totally okay. The more we restrict those foods, the more that our body actually wants them. So allowing ourselves to have those occasionally is definitely okay. Once or twice a week or sprinkled throughout the week is okay. Um, but yeah, it's super important to just make sure a little bit here and there is okay, but majority of the time, and setting those limitations to it. Kids need help with their decision making, so as parents, it's our job to make sure that we have those boundaries and those limits set, and show them the way. Model them that it's okay to have these treats every once in a while, but also making sure the majority of the time we're reaching for those nutritious foods.
Absolutely. And how can establishing, healthy eating practices at a young age really maybe start a habit in them as kids and as they move into adulthood?
And that's what we hope, is that these limits and these boundaries that we set, in their earlier life is something that just becomes a habit, that this is just something that we do. We don't have to think about it. And it's essentially going to help set them up for success in the future. So if we could get them started young, get those habits, set up with them, our hope is that it follows them through adulthood and it just becomes what they naturally do.
All right, Abby, well, thank you so much for joining us, giving us some of these
Yes.
tips this morning, and we'll have to try some of them out.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right, have a great rest of your weekend.